Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Recent Things. It is already that time of year when we all have Christmas on the brain. It is literally right around the corner. Halloween hasn't officially come yet, but here on my channel we're already going to start with that Christmas decor. And today I am starting with showing you how to make not one, not two, but 3 bows for your presents, for your Christmas tree, for your wreaths, any way you want to use these bows. So it's 1, 2, and 3 Christmas bows today. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you how I made them. I am using this 2.5-inch wired ribbon today to make our ribbons. I'm also using a ruler, mine's 18 inches in length, some cable ties or zip ties, scissors, and of course my handy dandy glue gun to make our ribbons today. I am starting out cutting my pieces at 36 inches. So I'm going to cut a piece of ribbon at 36 inches and another one at 4 inches. And again, so one piece cut at 36 inches, one piece cut at either 4 or 5 inches. Then all I'm going to do is I'm going to loop it around to create a loop at the top and a ribbon shape. So we've seen these ribbons before. It's just crisscrossing in the middle with the tails at the bottom, and then our loops or our bow will be at the top. So if you do a shorter loop at the top, that means your bow is going to be smaller. And if you do a little bit larger, your bow is going to be larger. So I'm going to do something a little bit in the middle and have that crisscross right in the middle. So again, the bottom half is my tails. Then I'm just going to take that loop right at the middle point at the top and bring it right down to where we cross those ribbons. And then I'm going to squish it right in the center, hold it with my other hand, kind of fluff it up a little bit just to see how it's going to look. Make sure it's nice and even, and I like how that works, so I'm just going to flip it face side down on my table, grab that zip tie, and I'm going to attach that right in the middle where my fingers were. Now I'm not going to zip it all the way, so I'm going to leave a little space there, and I'm just going to make sure that it's nice and even, everything works perfectly, and then once that happens, I'm going to pull it nice and tight. And then I'm going to take my scissors, cut off the excess of that cable tie. And then with that little small piece that we cut before, I'm going to fold it in thirds and glue it down into a little strip. And that's going to cover our cable tie right in the middle. So a little glue, fold down that one end, hold it in place. A little bit more glue, fold over the other end, hold it in place, and then cut off the excess. Once we flip it over, I am just going to finish off those tails with a little dovetail, folding it in half and cutting it on an angle with my scissors. And then I'm going to fluff up those little loops on the side to create our first bow that's all ready for our Christmas decor. And for our second ribbon, I am going to cut the first piece at 58 inches. Then I'm going to cut a second piece at 24 inches. And our final piece I'm going to cut at the 5-inch mark. And these are our cuts for this ribbon today. Again, our ribbon lengths, one piece at 58 inches, one piece at 24 inches, and our final piece at 5 inches. To create this ribbon, I'm going to take my longest ribbon and I'm going to bring one end right to the center, and then I'm going to bring the other end right to the center as well. This is creating 2 loops, one at the top, one at the bottom, and it also creates a little figure 8 or an infinity symbol loop as well. So I'm just going to even it out and make sure both sides are nice and even. Once I have that, I'm actually going to grab my staple gun and I'm just going to create a little staple in the center so it doesn't move on me. Once that happens, on the right hand side, I'm going to bring that ribbon right to the center, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So we're just bringing the middle of that loop right to the center, and we're going to create 4 little loops here. Then I'm just going to turn it around. I'm going to come in the center and squish it together. Hold it with my other hand, kind of make sure everything's nice and even and make sure everything is how I like it. And then I'm going to grab that zip tie right in the middle. And again, I'm not going to zip it really tight. I'm just going to leave it nice and loose and then just place that right to the side. With our 24-inch piece, I'm going to cut the dovetails, fold it in the middle, squish it, fold it in half, just so I have my marker, and then I'm going to feed that through the center of our cable tie. Once that's all in place, I'm going to zip tie that really nice and tight, cut off the excess, and again, we'll take that 5-inch piece, fold it into thirds with glue, and that's going to create our little cover for that zip tie. Again, we just throw down a little bit of hot glue, fold that one end into the hot glue, then we're going to fold the other end into the hot glue. Again, hold it there. Once it's dry, we're going to cut off that excess. Then we can flip it over, and now my favorite part, fluffing up that bow and creating those beautiful loops on our double bow. And this one's a little bit bigger than the first one we did, so this will be perfect for a large wreath or a Christmas tree. Our final ribbon today, I am cutting pieces at the 18-inch mark, so that's 2 pieces at 18-inch. I'm going to come in and cut one at the 17-inch mark, and then I'm going to cut in again at the 16-inch mark. My last cut is going to be at the 5-inch mark again. So here we go. We have 2 pieces cut at 18 inches, 1 piece cut at 17 inches, 1 piece cut at 16 inches, and 1 piece cut at 5 inches. I'm going to take one of our 18-inch lengths and I'm going to put that aside. That's going to be for our tail. And then what I'm going to do with the remaining pieces of ribbon, I am going to create little rings just by adding some hot glue at the end and folding it over. And I'm going to do this for all of the remaining pieces. So that's one at the 18, one at 17, one at 16, and one at 5. That's going to create our little rings. Once that's all done, I'm going to grab our largest piece, which is our 18 inches, lay it down nice and flat. I'm going to take the next size down. I'm going to lay that on an angle, kind of crisscrossing, and then our final piece at 16 inches, I'm going to lay that crisscross as well. And before we squish it all together, I'm going to lay that 5-inch piece right in the middle with the holes at the top and the bottom. I'm going to feed that cable tie or zip tie right through the middle of that little disc that we created, flip it over, and then I'm going to squish it right in the middle, aligning everything. And then again, we're going to zip that zip tie, but not all the way. This is going to be a little bit loose still again, because we're going to add our tail to it. And before we add our tail to it, I'm going to cut the ends, finishing them off with a dovetail. Once that's done, find the center, squish it all down, and create a little mark for where our center goes. Then we feed it right through that cable tie, right to the middle, and then we're going to adjust those tails, make sure everything's nice and secure, and then we're going to zip tie it nice and close, cutting off the excess. Then we flip it over and we just start fluffing those little loops to create our beautiful bow, fixing the tails a little bit, and here we go, our final little bow, all ready for the presents and our Christmas decor. Here they all side by side. I have our first little ribbon here. It's our single ribbon. Then we have our double ribbon, which is a little bit larger and longer tails. And then our third and final bow, just full of those loops. All 3 bows ready for our Christmas decor. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate you joining me. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new project. Thank you so much for joining. Take care. Bye for now.